Hey guys, I'm MG, and today we'll be looking at Friday the 13th, which is a 1980 American independent slasher film that was directed by Sean S. Cunningham and written by Victor Miller. However, are we here to name celebrities? No, we're here to review. So why do we do that? Right now. This film was a flaming box office success, which led to a bunch of sequels over the years, and I'm glad people love this film, but I don't understand the appeal. I understand the appeal of Jaws, but this one, not really. That's not to say I hate it. I mean, I had a pretty decent time with it. It has its fair share of good things going for it. Like, the music by Harry Manfredini was really good. It wasn't all that tense, but it got the job done well enough, so I can accept that. The cinematography was pretty well done. Sure, the shaky cam shots were a little disorienting, and some setting shots can be a bit too long, but it doesn't affect the whole film, thankfully. And the setting shots look quite beautiful, nonetheless. This film was also really well directed, with effective shots that look pretty great. The kills were pretty solid. Some of them were kind of lame, like Steve's, but others were great, like Marcy's or Jack's, with Tom Savini doing a really good job with the effects, so that's nice. Most of the performances were forgettable, but Adrienne King and Betty Palmer were the highlights of the whole film. Adrienne King did a great job of showing Alice's personality, and Betty Palmer was really tense and frightening as a villain. And I enjoyed Crazy Ralph a lot. He might be my favorite character of the whole film, with a fun performance from Rod Gorney. The opening scene was strong, with it setting up the tension and premise fairly well, despite how lame the kills are. The climax was pretty exciting. Mrs. Voorhees was a really menacing villain, her death scene was satisfying, and the reveal of her being the killer was the best part of the movie. It does come out of nowhere, but the reason why it's the best part is because of its execution. It was well directed, well shot, beautifully acted, and it was tense as hell. Plus, the nightmare scene was okay as well, which makes me say that the climax really saved this film. Because unfortunately, I need to talk about the flaws now. I don't want to, but here we go. I just find almost the entire middle act to be meandering and unengaging. I don't necessarily have an issue with this direction, and I would have been fine with it if the characters were fun, but these ones are just really boring, with performances that aren't really effective. I enjoyed Ralph, but he's only here for 5 minutes, so bye. And I don't even care about Alice that much either. She doesn't have any traits to latch onto, nor is she a joy to watch, which is sad because King is trying so hard to make her mean something, but the writing is just too plain for her character. The pacing is also a bit slow. Not as slow as I expected, but still very slow. Especially when Alice makes coffee. That was the most boring segment of the entire film, and I couldn't believe how shallow it felt in terms of stakes or death. Like, would you be invested into seeing a character that you don't care about make coffee? Because I sure as hell would not. And there's one last thing that might seem minor, but just makes me mad when I think about it. I don't like how Mrs. Voorhees fights in the climax. Now, it was tense, and I was invested in the scene, but I could have been more invested if the character was just less slow. Like, she kills everyone else straight away, but with Alice, she just wastes time slapping her or hitting her head in the sand, which kind of contrasts to her other actions. Like, she was foreshadowed as tough when everyone else dies, but in the climax, it doesn't live up to my expectations. And it's frustrating because they had a clear opportunity to make the character scarier, but they kind of blew it when we see that she's just this bumbling killer. And it would have made the film and the character much more better than it already was. So overall, this is a film that desperately tries to create suspense, and while it kind of works, I just don't feel the levity that I should be feeling. And I'm very sad about that. It had a lot of potential, and I really want to love it, but I can't. And I don't understand the appeal, and why it was a big success. If the characters were fun, then I think I would have enjoyed this film a lot more, but in general, I would just call it another slasher that was made and nothing else. I didn't have a bad time with it, but when you see how it could have been better, that just makes the flaws stick out a lot more. 6.3 out of 10. Goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye.